1619, the first of the African slaves were brought to America and forced into aiding crop production. Most of them worked in the fields from sunup to sundown. They were given less than suitable means of food, and many of them were abused by their overseers, especially on larger plantations. The election of President Lincoln and his anti-slavery views led to the Civil War, which lasted from 1861 to 1865, and with the North winning and the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation, and also the passing of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, slavery was abolished, former slaves received the rights of citizens, and in 1870 they were given the right to vote. Now, despite the implementation of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, blacks were still treated poorly in many parts of the country, but especially the South. Legislature in the 1880s passed laws known as the Jim Crow laws, which stated that blacks and whites weren't allowed to use the same facilities, ride the same buses, or even attend the same schools. And this segregation of children in the education system was also implemented within the deaf schools. For over 100 years, black deaf children attended separate educational programs than white deaf children, and the separation of the students led to the dialect known as black ASL to form. It's considered a dialect in the same way spoken languages have different dialects. Some signs may look the same, but have a different meaning, or vice versa. The integration of schools brought about by the 1964 Civil Rights Act closed down all the black deaf institutes or combined them with the pre-existing white schools. One book called The Hidden Treasure of Black ASL was the first of its kind to explain the history and structure of BASL. One of the authors, Carolyn McCaskill, discussed what she felt when she had to attend an integrated school. There is little to no black ASL used in the classrooms at Gallaudet, and Carolyn McCaskill, she led a mixed group of students in discussion about different cultures and observed how they interacted within their small groups. And the black students in her class, they made comments such as how black ASL shows their personality and how their signing is louder, more expressive, and they refer to their use of black ASL as almost poetic. And although they're proud of their dialect of ASL, they tend to worry that it will be perceived as too loud or less correct than your everyday ASL. Carolyn recalls her family members making very upsetting comments to her when she would use the sign she learned from her white classmates. They claimed she was signing like the white students and that she thought she was smarter or better than they were just because she was using something they didn't. Interpreters choosing to work in the educational setting that may encounter black ASL, they have to be prepared for a few things. They have to be aware of the assortment of languages and cultures within the deaf community, and they have to expand their training and skills into those diverse racial and ethnic groups. And the entire subject of Black American Sign Language was more than just learning that there are different dialects of ASL. You have to go so far back to the origins of African Americans in this country to understand why the black deaf community has its own flavor on language and also why they fear that it's dying out.